welcome to my short video review of our 2017 long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter van. And while I would love to tell you that we did this wonderful conversion ourselves, we didn't. And in fact, we got it done by a place called Rated Conversions up in Darlington. And when I think about it, I guess there are three reasons why we ended up going for Rated Conversions. First of all, they were definitely, compared to all of the kind of sport home conversion outfits we spoke to, they were definitely the most helpful and flexible in terms of meeting our needs. Secondly, the core product is a really good one, and they've been doing it for a long time. They know what works, and so we liked the style, the layout, the colours, and of course what we were after was a particular layout which they covered, which had the two adults and a kid sleeping plus facing forwards with seatbelts and stuff. And finally, and importantly, they helped us source the van, because that whole sourcing the van, it can be a whole load of legwork. And in fact, what we were able to do was agree a budget for the finished product and the specification we were after, and then that kind of equated to an age and mileage van that then they helped source for us and had delivered to Rated Conversions so that they could start work. So let's have a look at the most important bit, the garage. There you go. That's the best bit, the garage. And I guess that's the reason why we upgraded from the VW to something bigger, because everything goes in there. The bikes, the gliders, kite surfing kit, camping kit, everything we need. And of course what it means is that when you rock up somewhere, you haven't got to unload everything, set up the bed, put the awning up, raise the roof. You know, you're self-contained, ready to go. Especially good when it's raining. Take a look at that. That is a reasonably expensive bit of kit, but crikey, it is worth it. That is a lithium power supply by Clayton Power. I will not try and blind you with science, because you can check out the website. But what it is a lithium battery, so that is a whole load more fit for purpose than a kind of old school leisure battery. It's got a inverter in it, so what you've got is 230 volt off-grid power, which means that everything you can use in a house, including things like charging up laptops, all that sort of stuff, you can do off-grid. No need to hook up. And it's got a sort of bit of tech in there. I think it's called a double DC converter, and what that does is speeds up the charging time. So actually I reckon it charges from nothing to full off the engine in about 45 minutes, and it makes the solar charging while you're parked up really quick and efficient. So you know that will more than, you know, it'll run the fridge, plus it'll charge up really quickly even in quite limited sunshine. So super happy about that. So yeah, the lithium power supply is an absolute winner, because it just is so much more fit for purpose than kind of what you normally get in motorhomes and camper vans and have done for years. And it's a bit of a story, because the reason we ended up with it is that it's really hard getting a Sprinter with cab aircon. And we were sort of thinking, well, what we can do is put a whole load of money into it and get that retrofitted, but it's quite expensive, and it's a reasonably big job. So what we ended up doing, and it was on advice and chatting to Rob at Rated Conversions, is we put this power system in, but we've also put then a sort of cab or kind of rooftop aircon unit. So it means a couple of things really. It means that because you've got the inverter on this and the quick charging time, when we're driving, we'll run the air conditioning off that. So that then means we've got aircon, you know, on the road when we need it. It also means then that if we plug in and we want to use the aircon, we've got that, because it's a normal kind of Kroning's sort of motorhome aircon unit. And then of course with that investment you also get this much better, and for us this summer being away, it was probably the game-changing thing really, is that you're never worried about power. You've always got plenty of it. You can live off grid absolutely, you know as long as you need to, and so yeah, really happy with it actually. Great. So let me talk you through the inside. Just worth pointing out that the front seats swivel round, which means that you get the full use of the space. You know, you've got the garage, so that takes up a bit of space, but I know a lot of Mercedes Sprinters have kind of an L-shaped sort of bench seat in the front, so to keep the cab and the living area separate. But I would really recommend going for the front swivel seats because it means you can properly utilise the space when you stop. And we also got the seats re-upholstered so that it's not leather, but it's kind of faux leather, which means that it's also really easy to upkeep. Okay, so let me talk you through the main living area of the van. We've got a sink with hot and cold running water. Next to that, we've got a Thetford oven, grill and 3-burner hob, gas hob. And on the last van, I said definitely go for a grill, and it's great. But this time we've got an oven too, so that's even better. Point worth mentioning around the bed is it's a fixed double bed. And one of the things we did is we dropped the bed height by around 4 inches, which is a good example of how rated conversions are pretty flexible and will work with you to come up with something that is exactly right for you. We don't have big motorbike in the back, so we've got mountain bikes that are a bit smaller, which means that we can then drop the bed height, and it makes it a whole lot easier to get in and out of. Over the other side then, we've got the toilet and shower. Here we've got I'd call it a 3/4, well, double, maybe 1 3/4 double facing seat. So absolutely fine for Tom, and if we've got one of his mates with us, they can both squeeze on there. It's got 2 seat belts, so all that's MOT compatible, and table, which when you're not using it, but we tend to have it up most of the time really. Tom can have his iPad on it when we're driving, but table that then stows in the rear doors if you need to. And one thing I didn't mention was that, and I didn't expect the fridge to be this side originally. I thought actually the fridge would be here, but you know, that's another thing that has turned out great really, because it means that, you know, you've got a lot more space to be able to get in and out of the fridge, and also of course when the door's open, if you've got to lean in, pick out a beer, it's a whole lot easier too. So there in the back, we've got a roof light, a couple of cupboards, one for me, one for Sal, USB charging points, plus light switches. And then just worth mentioning, beyond a couple of cupboards here above Tom's seat and bed, what we also went for is a additional cupboard, which is really big, over the cab, and that was an addition, but again, you know, it just adds a whole load more storage space, so well worth it. So one of the things that you probably noticed was sitting on the bed at the back of the van was a black infill section, and I just wanted to talk through how Tom's bed works, because initially I was a bit unsure about how well that would work, but of course what happens is the table and the table leg comes out, that box swivels sideways, the front seat goes down and straightens up, and then that black or that infill piece then completes to what is a reasonable sized bed, and actually is really quick and easy to set up. So that's actually great, and it works really well for Tom. Another thing which I initially was a bit unsure about was this additional bit of furniture, but it's more storage space, so that works too. And actually, you know, if I'm sitting there or Tom's sitting here, we can put our feet up on that, and it's really comfy. Great, good for playing chess. There you go, that's what it looks like from the outside, and we did make a kind of conscious decision to try and make it look low key. So no graphics on the side, looks like a sort of glorified white van. And as yet has not got any Carlos Fandango wheels on it, but I may well be persuaded. So, a few things worth pointing out here. We've got 230 volt sort of hookup so we can plug in. We've got jet wash tanks which give us extra water for kind of all multiple purposes, and quite often I use it as an outside tap. Where we we decided not to go for a sort of integral wastewater tank because it feels like it's another thing to sort out every few days and keep clean. So we've got something to collect the water with, but otherwise it just runs free, which for most purposes is fine. And then next to that we've got the mains water, which is a 80-litre freshwater tank. So a couple of things just worth pointing out from this angle. Please ignore the dent in the roof, which was an unfortunate incident with a pigeon. Never happened before. What's the chance of that? Yeah, a bit unlucky. But we got the Fiamma awning, which I think is 4.5 metres wide, and obviously great if it's super sunny or pouring with rain, so we use that loads. And I'm not sure I mentioned it, but right at the back of the van, you can just about see it, there is a gas barbecue point, and that's great. You know, makes outdoor cooking really easy. So if you've got the option to get one of those, I would definitely do it. So there you have it. Didn't quite turn out to be a short video, but hopefully you found it useful. Just final point really is that, you know, any van conversion, and we've done it a few times now, it's always a compromise. You know, you spend a lot of time thinking through what you're going to do, what you're going to need, how you're going to spec it out. And yeah, all in all, we're both really happy with the decisions we made, and also really happy with the job that Rated Conversions did. So I know it was you know, not the easiest of times with loads of with lockdown and all the shenanigans that came out of that, but yeah, you did it, and you did a great job. So big thumbs up for them, and yeah, thanks. We're really happy.